If your dating life feels like walking through a minefield, chances are you haven't grasped the fundamentals of how attraction actually works, or, rather, how it gets hijacked. Forget cheesy pickup lines. What we need to talk about is recognizing the architecture of persuasion, because knowing how manipulation is built is the absolute best armor you can put on yourself. Before any game begins, the foundation has to be internal. Genuine magnetism doesn't come from chasing, it comes from owning yourself. If you don't accept your own worth, every attempt at attracting someone else will feel desperate, and desperation screams insecurity. On the flip side, some sophisticated players aren't interested in partnership, they want dominance. Their whole playbook revolves around crafting an atmosphere where the target believes they are special, superior, uniquely selected above all others. And here's the fast track they use: instant intimacy. They deploy linguistic shortcuts, throwing out little suggestions that imply, we already know each other. It's a trick to short-circuit your natural guardrails and build artificial closeness way too fast. When things are still tentative, the battleground shifts to microsignals. Subtlety reigns supreme. Strategic glances, deliberate posture, these are the silent negotiations happening long before a word is exchanged. A massive piece of tactical advice here is letting the pursuit happen externally. You let him make the first move. Why? Because controlling the initiation keeps his ego satisfied. It lets him walk into the situation thinking he's the hunter, never suspecting he's been expertly lured. But getting noticed isn't instant. Experts suggest saturation, seeing the right person repeatedly, catching glimpses across different environments, maybe 7 times minimum, before you ever try to truly interact. That groundwork demands homework. Deep dives into their digital footprint, their interests, their old heartbreaks. That intel phase is everything. It informs how you play, but crucially, it also protects you from becoming collateral damage. And listen closely to this red flag: do not hand over your deepest wounds prematurely. Don't volunteer stories about cheating, abuse, or huge forgivings to a stranger. Those confessions aren't bonding agents, they are weapons waiting to be sharpened and aimed back at you. Some operations get incredibly intricate. Imagine profiling someone down to the exact source of their biggest youthful pain, maybe tied to a difficult obligation years ago. Then, instead of confronting that wound head-on, strategists weave similar archetypes into their orbit: people who look or behave like the perfect ghost from their past. These appearances aren't random encounters, they are carefully staged reminders implanted subliminally over weeks, usually set against scenery meaningful to the target. Patience isn't optional. Rush the delicate construction, and the structure collapses. This leads us straight into the darker mechanics. Real attachment grows organically, coercion manufactures addiction. Watch for the push-pull rhythm: explosive bursts of adoration followed by abrupt, cold withdrawals. That cyclical pattern mimics chemical dependence. When they pull back, they engineer panic. Then, bam, they swoop in with overwhelming acts of kindness, flooding you with concern or gifts. That's called love bombing, and it tricks your primitive brain into registering safety after chaos. Understand this clearly: honey traps have zero room for actual love. They exist purely to extract something: information, compliance, resources. Narcissism runs on curated fantasy. Think of the exaggerated lifestyle claims online, the phantom trips, the fake corporate ties. They sell a narrative of effortless perfection, constantly layering drama into that glossy fade to keep the audience hooked. So, how do you fight back? First, rigorous verification. Check the paper trail. Second, dig beneath the surface pleasantries. Ask about ambitions. Ask about failures. Inquire about unmet dreams. People rarely lie well about aspiration. Low self-esteem masked as ambition is a giant flashing sign, pointing to a weak spot ripe for gentle redirection. Or heavy pressure. But resilience isn't just about spotting lies, it's about fortifying your own frequency. If you're going to navigate this world, you need an impenetrable core. Cultivating confidence isn't reciting motivational quotes in front of a bathroom mirror. It's embodiment. Find stillness. Connect physically to your own senses. Visualize achieving success, really feel the sensation of winning, and anchor that powerful state somewhere tangibly, or pulse point, a particular breath. Make that triumphant feeling a repeatable trigger. Stepping into a space vibrating with unshakable self-worth changes the atmospheric charge around you. Attraction responds to vibration, period. Ultimately, the greatest skill isn't playing games, it's developing such fierce, unapologetic self-possession that nothing else can penetrate it. Recognize the parasite, protect your energy, and refuse to participate in anything that asks you to shrink yourself to fit another person's agenda. Check out Profile for podcast summaries.